Hello and welcome to the Post to Post podcast, episode 110, August 2nd. Jason, Neil.
Heck yeah, we're back for regular Sunday podcasts.
And how was yesterday?
Yesterday was a gauntlet of trying to not be hungry and not be thirsty. Like I tried to not, because we live streamed yesterday for 10 plus hours.
Oh, you did. I joined you for the last two, maybe.
Yeah, like it was a ton of fun, and we'll get into it a little bit, but just sitting down for the first 3 hours completely destroyed me. Like I literally had to take a break during the live stream and get up and walk around. I was trying not to eat a lot on the live stream and drink a lot because, I mean, that's not really visually appealing to watch someone eat and drink. So that was tough. And then I stood up for the last 7 hours or whatever, which was much easier. But when I went to bed and got up this morning, my ankle was killing me. So it was a lot of fun though. Yeah. How was yesterday for you?
I didn't see as much hockey as you did.
I don't think I watched as much hockey as you think I did, because I was spending a lot of time in chat. So I only half paid attention to most of the games. But yeah, it was awesome. There were so many people who came out and said hello. It was over 10 hours. We created new memes.
Yep.
The fluff
and the
mustard,
mustard,
and the orange juice. Yeah. We reacted to some redesigned NHL logos, which was pretty fun. Everyone could kind of give their opinions in a live setting, that was probably my favorite part of the
I thought that was pretty cool. I seen part of that when I was coming in.
Yeah, that was great. And the designer Cole was there in the chat himself, so that was really awesome. We played some GeoGuessr live, just some real quick games, which was a lot of fun. And we watched hockey, obviously. So just a big thank you to everyone who watched, regardless of what you were there. There were people there for the whole stream, which was amazing. But whether you watched for a little bit, watched and then came back later on, like there were some people who were in the UK who started to watch, went to bed, slept an entire night, and woke up.
And you're still going.
Still going. So I appreciate those people for popping back in the morning. Thank you to anyone who subscribed during the live stream, anyone who became a YouTube member, who became a Patreon member during it, who liked it, who donated money specifically. Like, you guys are awesome. It was a really good first experience of live streaming for me on that channel. So I just want to thank everyone. It was a ton of fun, and I plan to do it again real soon. I want to do more live jersey reaction kind of videos or logo. Like that was awesome. Like, I'm seeing it for the first time. You guys are seeing it for the first time, and we can talk about it together at the same time. Like, it was the best of both worlds. So I'm looking forward to that a lot. But with all the fun stuff out of the way, there was some serious hockey yesterday.
Yeah, 5 games.
There's 5 games, and they were all staggered. There's a point where there were 2 games on at once. I think it was the Chicago game and the Islanders game, I think, was on at the same time.
The last hour or so.
Yeah, so I had admittedly, the Islanders-Florida game I watched the least out of all of them. That was to my right, and to my left was the Chicago-Edmonton game, and that was later in the game, so I was trying to pay more attention to that. So I feel a bit unqualified to really even talk about the Islanders game, but what I did see was pretty great. And we can get into it, and we'll go game by game if you want.
Sure.
And we'll do it in order.
So let's start with Carolina and New York. Was this your favorite game of the day?
Yeah, actually, that was one of the popular questions in the live stream. What was your favorite game of the day? And I don't think it was the best game of the day, but it was my favorite game of the day because it was the first game of the day.
Yep.
There was a fight.
Yep.
There was a lot of hitting. It was physical. There's these teams, I would say, never had a rivalry before, but even just the conversation between the fans prior to this lead up to the series about Carolina fans like, okay, these are the Rangers. Like, why is everyone so high in the Rangers? Like, why? Like, we can beat them. And the Rangers fans being like, Carolina, like, look out, don't sleep on us. So that rivalry was even kind of born between the fan bases before the series started. And it didn't disappoint because it was a really close game. It was a really enjoyable game to watch as a hockey fan. And it was just generally really good hockey. So that was my favorite game of the day. And you didn't see any of that game.
I seen parts of it. So of all the days to have a family get together, we had a family get together yesterday because someone in my family got married. So it was kind of like their pseudo reception. So we were down at the lake, of course, and they had a TV on inside a trailer sticking out a window with no sound. Really? So we were all like sitting in a big huddle with the guys kind of keep glancing at the TV. So couldn't hear the game, but could see the game. So I seen all the goals and stuff like that. But Yeah, in terms of the Islanders game, when we talk about that, I didn't see. That's the only game I seen literally nothing of that because we were out doing other things then. So,
yeah, that's no problem.
Just from my notes, I have that it was a surprise kind of that Lundqvist started because Friday night it was Shesterkin was ruled out, unfit to play. Unfit to play. We're going to hear that a lot.
Yeah, unfit to play, unfortunately.
Yeah, so they're not allowed to say why he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
He's just unfit to play.
I thought Lundqvist played pretty well. His rebound control wasn't great through most of the game, but just in general, I thought he played excellent.
I thought some of those goals he didn't really have a chance on, like bad tips, like one off the skate. Like
Totally, I agree. And Carolina played really well.
Yep.
They had most shots on goal. They won the most faceoffs, or they had the better faceoff percentage. They're better on the power play. The Rangers had the most block shots, mainly probably due to the pressure of Carolina. So Carolina was the better team, and the score dictates that. Sometimes the better team doesn't win, but I think the proof is in the pudding there. In that game, Carolina was a better team, and they won.
Yep.
I thought Zibanejad played well. Aho played well. Svechnikov, both goalies played well. Slavin was a beast. Definitely some bright lights in this game on both sides. Panarin was invisible a little bit at times in the game, which I think obviously disappointed a lot of Rangers fans. But I expect him to bounce back a little bit. The main takeaway I have from this game is the penalties.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many penalties, it seems like. And not just this game, we can get into some of the other games, but it was just crazy. I think
both teams had 21 penalty minutes.
Like there was a fight, so that's stacked a little bit, but
there was one fight, and then each team had 6 other penalties on top of the fight.
It's frustrating because playoff hockey is usually less strict. They usually let them play a little bit more, and we got I think the opposite of that. I think there was,
especially when we get talking about the Montreal game.
Yeah, these were yeah, that was a one-sided affair, unfortunately. But yeah, it was a really good game. I'm really excited for game 2, and I have no prediction because I don't know, really.
A few podcasts ago, I predicted. Well, I didn't predict, but I want the Rangers to win. They're definitely the underdog. Like, don't get me wrong. They're definitely the underdogs here. Like, Carolina should win this series, but I'm still rooting for them.
Yeah, I'll be happy with whoever wins. I just want them to play all 5 games because it's really good hockey. So selfishly, as a hockey fan, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
The next game, which was probably the most talked about game of the night, was the Chicago-Edmonton game. Chicago won 6-4.
10 goals.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Chicago had the most shots on goal, but Edmonton dominated the faceoff circle. Edmonton had double the giveaways as Chicago. They had 17. So
the players aren't crisp yet. We have to be understanding of that. We talked about that in the live stream. Like, it's been 4 months or whatever. You can't really expect playoff level performances right out of the gate.
Yeah, and there's some other really good examples of that in some of the other games that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But there's definitely some takeaways from that game. Kubalik was awesome. 5 points. John Taves was great. Keith has amazing head of hair now. The big line for Edmonton was pretty good, but they also made some mistakes as well. I thought Cassian was kind of crap. He was really kind of a non-factor in the game. When a player like that should be one of the biggest factors. He's not going to score 4 goals or anything like that, but he's a big physical player, and I didn't really see that much from him in that game. There's a couple times he got into a couple of tussles, but questionable goaltending from Edmonton. I think one goal specifically was Smith's fault. He tried to play the puck, and there's just a lack of communication between him and the defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
He basically gifted them a goal, which is unfortunate.
He let 5 goals in on 23 shots.
Yeah, not great.
No, so
some of them weren't his fault, but yeah, he needs to be better.
They've already said, like the coaches already said, that they're not sure who's going to start the next game, but they have confidence in both goalies. So
no, they don't. They pulled one. They had confidence. They never would have pulled one. But their defense was pretty crap last night. A lot of puck watching. It was unbelievable. I think it was maybe the second goal or the third goal. I can't quite remember. But the puck was behind the net, and it was passed out eventually. And there was one Edmonton player on the guy with the puck behind the net, and their other 4 were kind of around the net, and they were all looking at the puck, and they were all not covering other players.
And he was wide open.
And Buddy was wide open.
Yeah.
It was a poor display of defense, but that kind of goes back to your point. Everyone's a little rusty.
And I thought Connor McDavid was going to set the tone right off the bat with that nice goal. Like, that was a snipe.
It was. Like, that was expected.
Yeah.
Edmonton scores first. It's Connor McDavid. Let's go. and not much went after that.
Chicago got 4 goals in a row after that.
It was a pretty one-sided affair.
Yeah.
For sure.
Edmonton came back at the end of the game with 2 more goals. Like we were looking at 6-2 for a little bit here, and it was like this is a blowout.
Yeah.
So they made it a little more respectable, but
I actually thought that they might come back, and that's the thing about Edmonton. They have such offensive talent. They have the ability to do that, but yeah, they didn't get it done. So you and I made our notes for this podcast independently.
we should stop doing that, by the way,
Why?
because there's one group of people that I watch or listen to on Sportsnet in the morning, and they're like young dudes like us. They're a little bit older, but not much. All right, I had to cut that because my phone rang like 6 or 7 times, and it just never seemed to stop. So I was saying,
we got asked during the live stream last night if we could do the podcast in a live setting. That's kind of one of the reasons why we don't, so we can make cuts.
That's true. Cuts happen, not very much, but sometimes they're very necessary.
Yeah.
So anyway, there's these guys I listen to on Sportsnet. Like I said, they're a little bit older than us, and what they do is they have a Google Drive, Google Notes, and they both have access to it, and they just put stuff in there.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's totally a good idea.
Let's do that.
That way, when something happens, they just very quickly open it up. Want to talk about this, and then it's in the notes, and then you can flush it out later.
Like, yeah, that's what
we'll do that.
Okay.
Because we both spent time this morning making notes, and they're the same notes.
Yeah, but interestingly, we both have on our notes a very specific tweet.
Yep.
From someone.
And this guy has been covering the Colorado Avalanche for a long time. Like, this isn't a nobody. This guy's written books and stuff about hockey. Like, he's pretty well known.
He's verified on Twitter.
Yeah, this guy's legit. Do you have the before edit tweet?
I don't.
Okay, I do. And I read it last night, and I was like, man, that's nasty. And then I checked it this morning, and it didn't have that.
Same thing, yeah. I didn't write it down last night, but I thought I grabbed it this morning, and then I noticed it was different. But the tweet was by Adrian Dater or Dater. I don't know.
I think it's Dater. Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but can you walk us through the tweet here of what he said?
All right, so he put out a tweet, obviously angering Oilers fans and even some people from like the Athletic and stuff. They could get into a little bit of a Twitter war with the guy from the Athletic. I didn't include that in my notes, but he said he's regretting his Oilers pick over Toronto. Connor McDavid.
In Chicago.
Okay, you should be reading this. Did I say Toronto?
No, you did say Toronto.
Okay, Adrian Dater tweet. Let's start over. Regretting my Oilers pick over Chicago. Connor McDavid, a brilliant talent, but a personality deficient guy. I think his blandness rubs off too much on his teammates. Happy to hear opinions to the contrary, but fact is he doesn't inspire others. That's what's out there right now if you look at his tweet. Last night, there was an additional line on that tweet that said, comes off like an absolute drone in every interview. Uninspiring. Okay. The first thing that he was getting railed at by regular people and the guy from The Athletic, who I forget his name, was that he covered Joe Sakic for like 20 years, and Joe Sakic was the same way. He didn't give good interviews.
That's true. That is true.
Like Wayne Gretzky never gave good interviews.
That's also
Kawhi
true.
Leonard in the NBA gives literally the worst interviews ever. Do you think teammates don't like having him on his team? Yeah. He's like one of the best players in the NBA. This is completely pointless, and I don't know why he's picking this bone to fight.
Publicity?
I mean, yeah, sure. We're talking about him. Good. Any publicity is good publicity, I guess.
That old saying. It's weird because it's almost like talking about the Pope and comparing the Pope to Connor McDavid. And not that there's bad things about the Pope, but it's almost like even if there was bad things about the Pope, you almost don't want to say it because so many people like the Pope and so many people like McDavid. So putting a tweet out there like that, he knows he's going to get some hate.
He has to know.
So this wasn't just a hot take. It was an intentional tweet that would cause controversy and cause arguments. So I think the mentality going into this was that bad publicity is good publicity.
This is a troll job almost.
Yeah, almost.
Like, why would you... Connor McDavid is... There's no doubt about it. He is one of the best players, if not the best player in the league.
Right. I don't necessarily...
Would Draisaitl be as good if he didn't have McDavid on his team?
Yeah.
He'd be good. Would he be as good?
He wouldn't have as many points.
I would say that McDavid pushes him to be better, and that's why they're so good together.
I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Do you think Draisaitl pushes McDavid?
I think they push each other.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of leader McDavid is. I'm sure he's fine.
I don't know.
We don't know. We're not in the room.
I would say that he's not a typical leader.
Maybe he's more intense than we know.
It could be. We can't see inside the locker room. We don't know how he inspires. And maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with his tweet.
Like I think Jonathan Toews is a good leader, but we don't really hear about that either. Like he's a pretty quiet guy. You only hear about it because other people have said things about him.
Right.
And for some reason people just don't talk about McDavid a whole lot.
Like some people lead in different ways. I think Crosby's a very vocal guy, same with Ovechkin. But players like Jonathan Taves and Shea Weber, for example. Some players don't talk a lot, but when they do, you listen.
Yeah.
And I think Connor McDavid might be a good example of that. Like I said, we'll never know because we're not in the locker room. But I do agree with a part of this tweet, though, that he is a bit bland. Like, he is like Joe Sakic. He is like
Sure, but what's wrong with being bland?
There's nothing wrong with that. I personally like when interviews are a little bit more comical and funny. Like Gallagher gives some funny interviews. Marchand does as well. PK Subban, obviously. So I like those interviews more, but it doesn't mean that those people are better leaders just because they have a little bit more personality or a little bit, trying to implement some comedy into the interview or something. So it's a risky tweet, but
it's a weird tweet. I thought
it's a weird tweet that the fact that he put out that original one and then removed that comment.
He was getting a lot of hate for the last line was about, well, you covered, Joe Sakic for 20 years and you had no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe he has the reporter's take on it where like he likes interviewing people that give good interviews and he just finds
that's true, I guess,
quote, him to be uninspiring.
And I guess
who's he trying to inspire when he's talking to the media? Like they're literally talking to the media in front of no fans in a bubble. Like
right. And I guess in his defense, not that I want to defend him, but he covered the Colorado Avalanche. He personally interviewed Joe Sakic. Do you think if Twitter existed back then, he's actually going to tweet this and complain about the person that he's interviewing and the team he covers? Probably not, even if he has the same opinion.
No, because it's his team.
It's his team. So I can see both sides of the argument, I guess. But yeah, regardless, I don't know if that tweet should have been made, but I like the fact that we're talking about it and it's causing some drama. What else you got?
Next game. I already talked about the
goals. You already talked about that.
So this is the game I didn't see at all. This is the game you've probably seen the least. So this kind of sucks to talk about this game. In terms of the scoring sheet, like I printed off the game summaries for every game just so we could reference like numbers and stuff. This is actually the smallest one. Obviously, it was only 2-1 game. But only 4 penalties for Florida and 2 penalties for the Islanders. Like it just, like I didn't see any of this game, so I cannot comment on it, which is unfortunate. But it just seems like
what I did see was actually a pretty good game. My big concern going into this was Bobrovsky. I thought that he was going to be the weak point of the team, and he was the strongest point. I thought he was unbelievable. He made some absolutely incredible saves. Sometimes you see teams get like 45 shots, and you're like, holy crap. And sometimes you see teams get like 30 shots, and you're like, okay, that's average. But that doesn't quantify the quality of shots. And there was a lot of quality shots against Bobrovsky and chances against him last night.
I did read that people thought he played really well.
I thought he made some unbelievable stops. So the fact that Florida was able to keep this game so close was 100% due to Bobrovsky. And I'm not a big fan of him. So I'm not, if I was a big fan of him, it'd be easy to say this stuff. But I'm not really a big fan of him. So it's...
Do you remember when Dan and Jay on TSN used to be like, Bobrovsky?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Like, we're locking you up in the jail, Bobrovsky.
Yeah, but this game, it's... the Islanders dominated on the power play. They didn't dominate, but they had a better face-off percentage. They had a better power play. So they were better in more categories than Florida, which makes sense with the score. I wish I had watched it a little bit more because I like the rivalry between these two teams, and it was just kind of on at a bad time because I think I took a break around the same time as well, possibly.
Did it seem like the game was intense, or did it just seem like both teams were kind of just doing their thing and playing?
No, it seemed pretty intense. It wasn't the most exciting game for sure. It was physical.
Apparently, there was a bad hit on Boychuk that's being looked at.
Yeah, so
I was reading about.
I missed that when it happened live, and every time that I looked away to watch the other game, they would show the replay, and I missed it every time. But I think it was Mackenzie Weegar who did it, and it was a weird scenario because Boychuk left, I believe, and then so did Mackenzie Weegar because they thought that they were going to eject him. But then they only made it a 2-minute penalty power play or something like that, and he came back. I can't really remember. That's kind of where I checked out of that game a little bit. I was getting kind of distracted with chat and stuff, so I actually don't know the whole story there. I'm unqualified to talk about that, I guess. But
they have Matheson a legal check to the head.
Is it it's 2 minutes?
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was originally a 5 or something in a game misconduct, but they brought him back. They were at I don't know if they were reviewing it or something.
I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see any of it.
Yeah.
We were not near a TV when this game was on, unfortunately.
Yeah, so that's really all I have to say about that game, unfortunately. I'll make sure I watch them.
Well, it's hard because, like you said, you did almost an 11-hour live stream yesterday. And so I left your house probably at 2 something,
like
almost
2:30,
3.
2:40, something like that.
Yeah, it was almost 3 o'clock in the morning by the time I left. And then we decided to have some entertainment when I got home. So I actually went to bed like 4.
Yeah.
And then got up late. Not surprisingly, I set an alarm, set 2 alarms, woke up way past both of them. It was almost lunchtime by the time I got up. And then we have to film this, so there just wasn't a lot of time to prepare. So that kind of sucks that way. But
yeah, I'm going to make sure I watch the second game of that series pretty heavily.
All right, here we are.
It's the game that I want to talk about, but don't want to talk about at the same time.
I like this game. This is the game I actually get to see.
This is one of the more entertaining games of the night for sure.
Yeah, I tried to jinx it. It didn't work.
You tried, and you almost succeeded.
All right, so we're talking about Montreal and Pittsburgh. And we said, if Carey Price can win you a game, you only have to win 2 more. How did Carey Price play last night?
If you are familiar with the podcast or my channel, the production channel, or the original Post to Post channel, you know that I'm incredibly critical and hard on Carey Price and the Montreal Canadiens team in general. Carey Price was amazing last night.
He was.
He was exceptional. His positional play was the typical Carey Price. That's his strong suit. Like, he's such a great positional goaltender.
41 shots.
Yeah, his save percentage is like 951.
It's not like 41 shots. It's like some of those were like big saves.
Yeah,
like
huge saves. The thing about Carey Price is sometimes he gets a little flashy with his glove, but he doesn't have to make these miraculous, like Dominic Hasek, Jonathan Quick saves. He's so good positionally that some of the hard saves, he makes it look easy just because he's positionally ready for them. There was a lot of that last night. Mm-hmm. So that was a strong suit. He showed it off last night, and the Canadiens somehow won.
Do you think they can win 2 more?
No. No, I do not. I wish I did, but I don't. The face-off percentage was almost even in this game, which is really surprising because Pittsburgh's so talented in that category. Shots on goal, obviously Pittsburgh. Hits. Do you see the hits?
I did not see the hits.
Montreal 53, Pittsburgh 30. Montreal usually doesn't play a physical game, but they definitely played a little bit more physical against Pittsburgh, which is really interesting. I wouldn't have predicted that. Montreal 27 blocks, Pittsburgh was 17. That obviously makes sense with all the scoring. And
one of those blocks was definitely a goal-saving block.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
can't remember who that was.
I think it was Tatar. He saved it with his nips or something. Or the chest.
Tatar nips.
Yeah, like I said, Carey Price was awesome. I wouldn't really say that there was anything bad to take away from this game other than Montreal's crappy defense. It was a really exciting game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
They had 2 penalty shots, which I don't think either of them should have happened, to be completely honest.
Okay,
but
yeah, when the first one happened, I was like, that is not a penalty shot. And I don't even think you realized there was a penalty shot coming up, like because you were so like, that's not a penalty shot, and you were just like going back to talk to the chat. I was like, no, he's pointing center ice. So then when the second one happened on Drouin, I said that has to be a penalty shot. That's the exact same play, and they gave it to him. And that was a horrible shot attempt by Drouin.
Oh, it wasn't even a shot.
It wasn't a Marchand, but he didn't get a shot off.
It was bad. I think the original penalty shot was with 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third, which is if the game's tied, I think at that point, there's 2 minutes left in the third, 2 minutes left in the game, and you're going to gift them a penalty shot on a questionable call.
There's 3 minutes and 3 seconds left.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, and not in a game like this.
Kulak.
Not in an important game like this. Give him a penalty, 100%. Deserves a penalty, not a penalty shot.
I think I said that on the live stream too. I'm like, I can't believe they're giving a penalty shot in the playoffs when the game is tied near the end of the game.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it was that.
That's frustrating for fans on both sides, really, because it's an individual game at that point, which is frustrating. But anyways, Montreal got that gift back and didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, like a penalty shot in overtime.
In overtime, but they won the right way without a penalty shot, with a regular goal, and it was awesome. It was, as a Canadiens fan, I was very happy to see that. Very relieved that they're not going to get swept, at least, which is great news. But I still think Pittsburgh's going to win, for the record.
I think Montreal needs to get their penalty situation under control.
Oh, they had 7 penalties last night. 8 penalties.
8 penalties. Pittsburgh had 3. Well, those are counting the penalty shots.
Yeah.
So if you don't count those, it's 7-2.
Yeah. So
like Deneau had 3 penalties himself,
and he took a really bad one in the. I think Pittsburgh was coming in with the puck. It was a 1-on-2, and Deneau kind of sticked him from behind.
Yeah,
it was a 0% play on Pittsburgh's end.
He got a slashing for it.
Yeah, Deneau didn't need to take that penalty, so he needs to smarten up. And I'm actually a big fan of Deneau, or I'm an average fan of Deneau. I don't dislike him. Anyways, that's all I really have to say for that specific game.
Yep.
The next game, which was the last game of the night, was probably the most difficult one to watch because of some things that happened. So it was between Calgary and Winnipeg. Calgary won 4-1.
My prediction or my want of Winnipeg to win this series is basically 0 now.
We don't know, but we know.
We know.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, we know.
So let's talk about the injuries first, because we'll get that out of the way.
So Scheifele got injured first on a play that looked innocent maybe at first, but...
Yeah. So did you hear what happened? Because I actually know what happened now.
What do you mean you know what happened?
Like, we were speculating whether it was an ankle or a...
Is it ankle?
It's not. He got cut with his skate, Tkachuk's skate. His leg got slashed.
There was no blood.
No.
How come there's no blood?
I don't know. But Paul Maurice ain't happy, and
You think it was intentional?
he thinks it's very intentional. I mean, I wrote notes about it. I guess we could skip to that. So Tkachuk kind of went into the boards with Scheifele, and it didn't look bad at the time. It looked like maybe because Scheifele kind of pivoted to the right, and it looked like he kind of bent his ankle up, and it looked like his ankle kind of got twisted a little bit, because that's when we were doing the live stream, that's what it looked like, and we didn't have the audio on, so we didn't know, and we were asking people in chat what they were saying, and they were saying they're not saying anything about it, obviously, because they can't. But Paul Maurice, after the game, said that he thought it was intentional. He said, this is a quote, "It was a filthy, dirty kick to the back of the leg. You can't see it on the program feed," which is like the broadcast camera. He said, "but when you look at the blue line feed and you zoom in, you can see it. He went after the back of his leg." He said he could have cut his Achilles, could have ended the man's career. It's an absolute filthy, disgusting hit.
I didn't notice it. Did you rewatch it?
No, because apparently, according to Maurice, you can't see it on the broadcast feed. You can only see it on the blue line feed, which they did not show. But he has access to that on his little tablet on the... So most people online are saying that Paul Maurice is off base here.
I didn't see that, so...
I didn't see it either, and we never seen the blue line feed.
Like, we're not big fans of Tkachuk. We're not trying to defend him.
I think a big part of this is Maurice is defending his guy.
Yeah.
And it's Tkachuk. He's got a bad rep, so that's easy to just make that assumption.
Yeah.
Tkachuk came out saying that he felt terrible about it. So clearly it is a cut, and he's probably done. That's a big loss.
I don't know if it was... I can't imagine it was intentional.
I can't either. I think Tkachuk's kind of a dirty player. Sometimes he's, like I said, this is the third day I've talked about Tkachuk.
Yeah, it is.
Just why I don't like him. But I don't know. I would need to see that camera angle, I think. But from what I've seen, it just seemed like they were going hard. And I think him or Scheifele pivoting to the right at the last second just kind of made things worse. I don't know. Paul Maurice thinks he lifted his leg and
sometimes players do that. They lift their knee to force to get a good angle.
There's a couple reporters online that have said there was some players in the past that were really sneaky about doing stuff like that, like dirty.
Yeah.
But they didn't think that Tkachuk was good enough to be able to do that unnoticed.
Oh, I guess.
So I don't know.
I mean, they obviously know each other. They were at the All-Star game together.
I think that if there's evidence on that blue line camera, the NHL will get it and Tkachuk will get suspended.
Yeah.
If Tkachuk doesn't get suspended, that means the NHL looked at that camera and said no.
So all we know is that he has a cut in his leg.
He got cut. He's probably done.
Is it his Achilles?
They said he couldn't put any weight on it after the game.
Wow.
I don't think it is his Achilles. And no, it's definitely not, because he's not allowed to disclose an injury. And he mentioned Achilles, so it's not.
That's true.
So he'll be unfit to play. That's what we'll hear.
A pretty serious cut then.
I don't know. Like, there's no blood, you're right, but...
Jeez.
Apparently he kicked him. Tkachuk admitted that he felt bad about it. So it was not an ankle getting twisted against the boards. It was literally a skate being kicked into him.
That's really scary. Because we thought it was maybe knee at the beginning.
We thought it was a knee, yeah, and then he seen him grab his down
to
here.
His ankle, yeah. We thought it might be a broken ankle or something.
I don't even... From the angle we seen, you can't even really see where that happened. It was just... I guess we weren't really looking for that either. We were looking more for the contact with the boards.
That's right, yeah. There wasn't... With all these new cameras and stuff, we still didn't get the angle that we
32 cameras and still didn't see what happened.
Frustrating, but it's really, really unfortunate for Winnipeg fans. I can't even imagine being a Jets fan.
Yeah.
And knowing that happened, and then getting to the next injury that happened.
Yeah, so Patrick Laine in the third period, he went off with what appeared to be a wrist or hand injury after colliding with Giordano and Sam Bennett behind the net, or the Flames net. So he went back to the boards. They showed the camera at the bench, and he was grabbing onto his wrist. It looked like, I don't know if it was his wrist or his hand. It kind of looked, they had the camera not panned enough just to see that he was like this. But but he left the game and didn't come back either. And they're both going to see specialists today.
Oh, really?
That's the quote. So I think it's 2 major injuries. And if that's 2 major injuries, then I'm sorry, Winnipeg, but I don't. The candle's been blown out, at least from me.
Yeah.
And I'm really disappointed by that because I really wanted Winnipeg to win this series.
These are arguably your 2 biggest guys on the team, or most offensively gifted guys on the team. Obviously, that's arguable because you've got people like Wheeler and Connor and stuff. But this is a massive blow to the Jets. I think I agree with you. I think the candle has been blown out. If they're gone for good.
I like that Wheeler came out and fought.
Absolutely.
To kind of defend his guy. So
totally.
The players must have known there was a kick.
Maybe.
Like maybe they looked like maybe the coach when he was getting helped off the ice, like they always stand there and look down at the bench at those little stupid tablets.
Yes,
they probably have access to the different angles, and maybe he's seen what he thought then was a kick.
Yeah.
And the player's seen it too, and that's why he fought him. Because when they fought, I thought it was weird because I said, yeah, he got injured on the play, but I didn't see any like bad intent there.
And it was a very staged fight.
Mm-hmm.
Like
he just came over and said, I got to get this out of the system. And that the staged fight makes sense now because they thought there was wrongdoing.
I think there'll be another fight in this series for sure.
There are going to be many fights, especially if Calgary goes up 2-0.
Oh yeah.
The third game is going to be a gong show.
Yeah. Winnipeg's a pretty big physical team. So, it's really frustrating because if this happened in like the last game of the series, you'd be like, okay, well, the entire series is basically over and Winnipeg just wasn't good enough to win. And this is how the series ended. But it happened in game 1. Like it's
especially after all teams have a 4-month break and everyone's all healthy and ready to go and bam.
I know.
First period, you lose one of your big guys. Third
tough.
period, you lose another one of your big guys.
Tough. That's all I really have to say about that game. It was a pretty decent game.
I thought it was a good game.
Yeah.
I was like I said, I was pretty bummed when the first injury happened. It kind of like Winnipeg, I think, was winning. I think it was already 1-0 for Winnipeg when that injury happened. I think. I don't think it was 0-0. I think there was already a goal.
You're right. Yeah, you are right.
So Winnipeg had the momentum, and then that injury happened, and then Calgary got 4 goals in a row basically after that happened. So
yeah, and I don't blame Hellebuck for a lot of those goals. He played decent. And
Paul Maurice on the bench when the injury happened, you could just see him like, oh frig, and the players even were kind of like, oh, like that's our guy.
It's true.
So. Yeah, there will be, I expect bad blood out of that series. So that's a quick recap of what happened last night.
There's definitely other news, though.
So last podcast we talked about John Chayka in Arizona. And literally between the time that we filmed and the time the video or the podcast went out, there was news.
He released his own statement, basically.
He released his own statement, yeah. So apparently the Coyotes want Gary Bettman to mediate the dispute between the team and him now. They're so angry that they think that he wronged the team. And I should have put the quote of the team in here
from last week.
Yeah. And I didn't even think about that because it's old news. But yeah, they basically called him out hard. They said he quit on the team.
Yeah, it was very childish, I think. It was
there was anger behind those words. It wasn't just like a typical PR we're disappointed.
They wanted to make him look bad publicly.
Yeah.
Which is very untypical of an organization to do. It shines really honestly bad light on the team itself. Whether you agree or disagree, it shines bad light on them. Like, you just don't do that.
And Chayka's was more tempered, I would say.
Absolutely.
And he said he basically left because of a situation created by ownership.
Mm-hmm.
The issue here is whether or not he was allowed to go talk to whoever he talked to. That's why this is happening. Chayka is saying, you gave me permission, and I guess Arizona's saying, well, not to do that. And that's what Gary Bettman has to determine whether...
Gary Bettman must be so tired of dealing with
Apparently, he
Arizona.
has to make time in his schedule to deal with this because he doesn't have time to deal with it right now. That's what I read in the article today. Like, it's not gonna happen anytime soon. It's gonna happen, and there's no rush to have it happen. It's not gonna be forever, but he's too busy right now to deal with it, so he's gonna make time and deal with it.
That's so frustrating.
I guess that's part of his job, but
anyway.
So let me recap the Elliot Friedman thing. He said, basically a month before the split, another team reached out to the Coyotes asking for permission to speak to Chayka about a job. The request was initially denied, but later permitted, and an offer that he couldn't refuse was made.
Wow.
That's what Ellie Friedman said last night on Hockey Night in Canada, apparently. So the key part of this dispute is, and they made it very clear, is that the title's general manager and or president of hockey operations could not be involved to prove that he was not making a lateral move. Because apparently the Coyotes are prepared to argue in the, I don't know if it's arbitration or mediation, I guess, that that's written into his contract that he's not allowed to make lateral moves without permission. And they're arguing that whatever this offer was made to him is, and that he did not have that permission to do it.
So it was actually a lateral move, potentially.
I don't know. Because when we first talked about it in all the news last week, it was not a lateral move. It was something above a lateral move.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
But maybe the Coyotes are trying to argue that to us it isn't, but to them it is, so that they win the case. And that's why they want Gary to... Like both sides have their opinion on what type of job opportunity this was, and it sounds like the Coyotes are arguing one thing for their point of view, and Chaky is saying, "Well, no, you guys said I could do it."
Is that considered arbitration?
It's considered mediation. He's going to mediate.
So Gary Bettman's considered third party?
He's the mediator. Yeah, he's the third party.
So it is arbitration. Isn't arbitration when you bring in a third party to...
Mediation is too.
Oh. Heck yeah.
He's mediating the situation. I guess they're kind of the same. They're obviously there's a difference between mediation and arbitration, but
I don't know if
this is mediation for sure, because that's what I read when I was reading it. Okay. He's the mediator.
Today's games. You got any predictions for today's games?
Okay, I'm wearing my Boston jersey. Tuukka Rask is not starting. That's very scary. I have faith in Halak, but
he's not?
He is unfit for play. He did not practice with the team.
Really?
So yeah, it's kind of scary. I hope it's just...
Halak is good though.
Like Boston's game doesn't matter. It's just an exhibition game basically.
Yeah.
So I hope that's all it is. Is just, well, we don't need you to go right now, but they got to play him at some point. If they expect him to start, the first game, he needs to play at least a couple of these games.
He needs to play.
So Arizona, Nashville.
Prediction?
There was a lot of upsets yesterday, I thought.
There was indeed.
I'm going to go... It's that time. I'm going to go Nashville.
I'm also going to go Nashville.
Really?
Nashville's my pick.
I think you're right. I think Philly's going to beat Boston today.
I'm high on Philly. I'm telling you.
I'm a little nervous. Boston didn't play really well in their exhibition game, and Philly did.
I really like Philly's makeup right now. And I don't like Philadelphia at all, but I like the team. I like how the team is structured. I like their play style. I like the coaching. I like the goaltenders in net. It angers me that I like the team that much in that way, but they're still the Philadelphia Flyers, so I can't like them too much.
I mean, they deserve success. They've had a string of
they've had a couple of chances.
They've had decent teams, but bad goaltending forever. Yeah. So they just haven't been able to put the package together. So
yeah, totally.
But I'm not going to pick them over Boston, even though I kind of did. I don't want Philadelphia to win.
You think Philadelphia's going to win tonight?
I think they're going to win tonight.
Sorry. That game. So the first game's on at 2 p.m. Eastern.
The first game's probably on right now.
No, if not, it starts in 45 minutes.
Okay. By the time this goes out, these games will probably both be done.
The Flyers Bruins is at 3 p.m. Eastern.
So yeah, by the time this gets out,
yeah,
that'll probably be done.
Blues and Avalanche is on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
I'm taking Colorado.
I'm also taking Colorado.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm having faith. Colorado's got to get it done here. Blue Jackets and Maple Leafs starts at 8 p.m. Eastern.
I am taking Toronto to win this game.
I'm also taking Toronto.
Wow.
I did. No, wait. On Discord, I predicted Columbus.
What? That was a mistake.
Hold on. I need to double check.
I can't
pick something different here and then.
It's just, I don't know. You've talked about it. I've talked about it. I think there's just so much pressure on Toronto to get this done that they're going to come out flying. And I think they're gonna get this first game. I don't think Columbus is gonna get blown out by any means, but I think Toronto's gonna come out with everything they got this game, and then I think Columbus will bounce back next game. But yeah, if I was making a prediction, I would say Toronto.
I did pick Columbus, so I'm gonna have to go to Columbus.
All right.
The game after that is the Minnesota Vancouver game. That's on at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, which is a pretty late game. I actually probably won't watch that. Or no, I guess I will. I'll watch the beginning of it. And I just want to run. Oh wait, hold on. Who are you predicting?
I don't know.
Vancouver.
I want Vancouver to win, but there's been a lot of upsets, so maybe mini. I don't know.
Maybe. I want to run through some of the predictions on our Discord to give you guys
about where people are voting.
Yeah, kind of an impression.
Enjoy it now because I'm going to be changing it.
Yeah, so I can see anyone on our Discord can see who predicted what and see the totals, but that will be changing. The Nashville Arizona game. Nashville has 28 predictions for a win, and Arizona has 15.
I'm surprised by that.
So it's pretty slanted in Nashville's favor there. The Boston-Philly game, Boston has 30, Philadelphia has 12.
Yeah, no. I'm the same way as you. I'm hard on my team. But if you watch that Boston exhibition game, I don't know. Boston needs to get their crap together a little bit.
Yeah. This next one surprises me a lot. St. Louis and Colorado. St. Louis has 13. Colorado has 29. I didn't think it would be that one slot.
I didn't think we were picking along the majority rules here.
Yeah. Blue Jackets and Toronto Maple Leafs. Blue Jackets with 23. Maple Leafs with 19.
Ooh.
That one's pretty close.
I like that.
Minnesota Wild and Vancouver, which is the game of the day on Discord. So it's worth two times the points.
That's a crappy game of the day.
Vancouver is 33. Minnesota is 9. So
wow.
I think that's the most slanted one in here.
The game of the day should definitely be the Toronto game, but it is random. I don't pick it.
Yeah. Down below in the description, you will see a link to the Discord. If you want to jump on Discord and take part in those predictions, talk hockey while the games are going on, I think it's a pretty cool place to be. We'd love it if you could join if you're not there already. That's all I got.
That's all we got. We had to make this one quick because of the 11-hour marathon yesterday.
Yeah. I don't even think this is quick, though. Probably close to an hour.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
We don't have a timer here, which we should because literally everyone else does. That way we can structure our conversation of whether we need more or less. But if you did not tune into the live stream last night, it was on the Productions channel, obviously not on the podcast channel. He does plan to do more in the future. Yeah,
I'd like to do one maybe this week sometime. Actually, I think we discussed possibly doing one together this week from this location.
It's cooler.
It is temperature-wise, it is cooler for sure. That room got pretty hot last night. So if your wife's okay with us doing it down here, then we can film down here. And yeah, what do you want to do? Just talk hockey, or
whatever the people want to do.
Concepts.
We can do what the people want to do.
People want concepts. It's like
people will get concepts. You got concepts to look at?
Oh, buddy, I got concepts. I've got concepts, so we can do that because we can bring them right up on the TV, can't we, or something like that? There, and then I guess I'll have to make something. I can send you the template or something, and you can make it work in OBS and play around with it. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. So thank you again to everyone who came out for the live stream last night, or all of yesterday, basically. It was so much fun. And if you want to join the one coming this week, if we can make it happen, we don't know a day yet, but keep an eye out. The best way to be notified is to subscribe to the Post Productions channel and click the little bell icon down below and select all notifications. So that way you're notified exactly when we go live. And yeah, thanks to everyone. Appreciate it.
There's a lot of hockey between now and next Sunday. A lot of hockey.
A ridiculous amount of hockey. Yeah, I might actually have to do some recaps of the night before on a daily basis or something. That's how much hockey there is. That's how many games that are on. And the cool part about this, I don't know, did you check the games for the week? Is there any games on during the day? I hope there is.
I think there has to be, isn't there? Maybe not. I don't know.
That would be awesome.
I did look at the schedule, I just don't remember it.
So, anyways, thanks guys. Appreciate it. Hope you having an awesome day. Hope you had a ton of fun yesterday watching hockey, and I hope you're watching lots of hockey today. If you're not subscribed to this podcast channel on YouTube, we'd love if you could hit the subscribe button. And to our audio listeners, you guys are awesome, like always. Thank you so much for listening to us. And to those people who listen to us audibly and then also come to watch the video on YouTube, because there's some of those people, you guys are absolute legends. So thank you so much. And we'll catch you in the next podcast next Sunday, and hopefully the live stream this week. Adios.